everyone. Today I want to share with you the idea of bridging the gap. So what does that mean? What does bridging the gap mean? To me, it's about building a connection between two things that are very different and distant from one another. For me, I'm very passionate in bridging the gap between seniors and technology, as well as seniors and youth. And you might start to see a common theme here, and that's seniors. One of the questions I get the most is, why seniors? And why do you care about seniors so much? And to really answer that question, I have to tell you a little bit more about my grandparents. So here's Grandpa and Grandma. Grandpa and Grandma live in Taiwan, which is where I'm from originally. And every summer, I would try to go back to visit them. Now, just a show of hands here, who here has taught their grandparents how to use a computer or an iPad before? Or like a cell phone? Nice. Who here thought it was hard? Great. So, when I was 10 years old, my grandpa came up to me and asked me if I could teach him how to use the computer. Now, I was very hesitant at first because I've heard of stories of how seniors are slow and incompetent when it comes to learning technology. But since he was my grandpa, I couldn't say no, so we started our first lesson. And I still remember the first thing that he asked me. He said, "Albert, what's this glowing button in front of the computer that you guys always press?" And so I explained to him, "Grandpa, that is the power button. And you kind of need it to turn on your computer." So we started out with the basic stuff. What is a mouse? What is a keyboard? What do I do with them? And of course, it was very tough for him, just because it was a completely new concept. But as he put in more practice, he was actually able to retain some of the skills and start using them in his daily life. However, there was this one incident that really stood out to me. And it was the time when my grandpa asked me if I could teach him how to make a DVD. And my grandpa's a huge fan of ceramics, so he would be able to turn a block of clay into a beautiful piece of art, like a teapot or a pot or a plate. And it was something that he was very proud of, and he really wanted to showcase it to his friends. So he asked me if there's any way of documenting this. So I taught him how to use a camera, how to take photos of his work, how to upload these photos into his computer, and finally how to export them and burn it onto a DVD. Unfortunately, it was very tough for him and very time-consuming as well. So we didn't end up finishing that summer. But I was like, that's okay. We'll come back next summer and we'll make sure to finish it then. Coming back to Vancouver, I started researching on different materials that my grandpa should read on. So I researched different websites, different YouTube videos that he should watch, and I compiled it into a Word document for him to refer to. And as I went back next summer, I gave him this Word document. He told me he didn't need it anymore. And I was very confused. I asked him, "Grandpa, I thought you wanted to learn how to make a DVD." But then he gave me this DVD, and in my mind, I was like, there's no way that this is the completed work. Just a couple summers ago, you were confused about what a mouse is, so there's no way that this is the completed project. But as I inserted this disk into my computer, I found out that it was actually a complete slideshow of his work. And what's really cool is that he included things like transition animation, background music, title sequence, and it was super cool how he was able to cram everything into this thing. Here's a screenshot of the DVD that he gave me. And as you can see, it was actually really professional. And that really surprised me. And it made me realize that there's a huge, huge potential for seniors to reconnect with technology, and that it wasn't an impossible task. Since then, my grandpa has been able to use technology to improve many parts of his life. For example, he was able to connect with a lot of his long-lost friends through the internet, and through apps like Skype and FaceTime, he's able to reconnect with his loved ones, like myself, who are live in a different continent. And it's really cool to see that. And that was the moment that I realized one of my biggest passions is bridging the gap between seniors and technology. In grade 10, I wanted to do something else. I wanted to make a difference. I thought to myself, if my grandpa can learn something like this from scratch, so can other seniors. And I realized that the gap between seniors and technology is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, and that seniors are starting to become excluded from the technological advances that we all enjoy. So I started TechEasy, which is a nonprofit, student-led organization that provides free technology education to seniors around Metro Vancouver. So how we did it was we invited high school students to go to different senior homes to teach seniors about computers, iPads, cameras, and pretty much all things tech-related. And a few months into building TechEasy, we started receiving tons of positive feedback. Feedbacks on how the seniors are actually able to start learning these skills and apply them to his life and enjoy the benefits just like how my grandpa did. And that was super exciting to see. There was something else that I noticed, however, and that was super interesting. I noticed that as our volunteer went to these senior homes to teach seniors about computers, they would actually learn from the seniors. The seniors will often have a conversation with our volunteers and share with them some of their life lessons, stories of their family, some of their experiences that they've had. And these were all really beneficial for our volunteers. And a lot of our volunteers actually saw the seniors as their mentors, which is also really cool to see. I realized that not only were we providing the computer aspect and providing that technological help, we were also facilitating the sharing of generational knowledge. And I realized that perhaps bridging the gap between seniors and youth is just as important as bridging the gap between seniors and technology. I talk a lot about bridging the gap, but why is it important? To me, it's important because it's a way to make our community better. It's about being able to identify that problem or that gap in your community and find different creative ways to solve it. Now, I want to leave you guys with 2 tips today. These are 2 tips that guided me while I was building TechEasy. There we go. The first tip is take advantage of your age. Now, being young has a lot of benefits, and I would say one of the biggest one is there are tons and tons of people out there who are more than willing to help you achieve your goals. And these are the people that really respect young people for taking that initiative to make a difference in their community and to become a positive change maker. Now this leads me to my second point, which is don't be afraid and don't hesitate to ask for help. You're going to face a lot of challenges while you're working on your project or making the community a better place. But that's okay. That's natural. And I would say one of the easiest ways to overcome these challenges is to simply ask for help and to reach out to those people who have the experience and the knowledge. When I was building TechEasy, I was able to connect with a lot of professionals in the nonprofit sector. And all of them are more than willing to share their skills to help me make TechEasy better. So I learned skills like how to incorporate an organization, how to manage your volunteer, how to request for funding. And all these skills made TechEasy better. I want to encourage you guys today to think about the gaps or the problems that exist in your community. It doesn't have to be about seniors or technology. It doesn't have to be about seniors and youth. And try and think of something that you're passionate in doing. Because at the end of the day, that's what really drives you. Once you've identified that gap or that problem, think of different ways to solve it. And don't be afraid to be creative and think big as you can. You'll be surprised of how something so small, like teaching my grandparents how to use a computer, can lead to something so massive, like creating an organization. So with that, I wish you guys the best of luck and go out there to bridge those gaps. Thank you.